Story will continue after a video that was cited to claim that China's PLA, the People's Liberation Army, was engaged in construction work at the line of actual control near Arunachal Pradesh. Of course, on their side, Indian Army sources confirming that this video was recent, and the video accessed by Republic TV was shot by the local residents in the Anjar district, but it's on the Chinese side, and there is an attempt to use this video to also sort of try and fearmonger and claim that China has intruded again. Take a look at the story and then we ask some relevant questions tonight.
An expansionist China provoked with Galwan. And now another video has surfaced from the Arunachal Pradesh border, wherein China's People Liberation Army can be seen actively engaged in construction work near the line of actual control. This video, shot by locals in the Anjar district, city's PLA personnel working with machines allegedly near Hadigara Delta 6 in Chaglagam, which is at the border. Initially, the Indian Army rubbished the contention. Later, sources in the army confirmed that the video was shot recently. Not just infrastructure, the PLA soldiers can also be seen constructing what appears to be a helipad in the area. It generally takes 4 days for an individual to reach the spot, and the video was reportedly recorded on August 11. Sources have confirmed that the video is that from the Chinese territory, but very close to the Indian territory. Reacting to the video, AIMIM Chief Asaduddin Owaisi has sought special session to discuss the same. He has claimed that China is preparing for a war with India.
हम प्रधानमंत्री से ये अपील करेंगे कि चीन के बारे में कुछ बोल दीजिए। आज अरुणाचल प्रदेश में हमारी जमीन पर चीन के बुलडोजर आ गए। वहां पर हमारी जमीन पर बुलडोजर आ गए। कमजोरों पर बुलडोजर चलाएंगे, चलाओ ना। चीन हमारी जमीन पर चीन बुलडोजर ला लिया है, हमारी जमीन पर चीन बुलडोजर चला रहा है। आप लोग खामोश बैठे हैं। सांप सूंघ गया क्या आप लोगों को?
Amid the ongoing Indo-China talks, the intrusion has sparked major concerns, with the veterans calling for a tit-for-tat approach. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
Well, there is an attempt even by some sections of the media to claim that this video was shot on the Indian side, and that's the most unfortunate part this evening. Joining us on the burning question, Major General J.D. Bakshi, Jitendra Kumar Ojha, Professor D.K. Giri and Vivek Srivastava. I'd like to start with you, General Bakshi. This video that is, the report that has really misled a lot of people across the country, right? Now, we of course check with the army sources. They say this video is recent. They acknowledge that it's recent, but they also say, General Bakshi, that it was on the China side. But there are reports published today that China has begun construction work in Arunachal Pradesh. How do you respond to such media reports, General Bakshi?
The only people who are in a position to give an authoritative statement is the Indian Army, which is deployed there. And they are saying that it is not inside Indian territory, but on the Chinese side of the LAC, very close to the LAC, and they are constructing a helipad there. So this merits a lot of caution, because we have to be very careful. As you are aware, it is standard Chinese practice to do salami slicing, to try and locate unheld gaps on the line of control and try and nibble away at them and present fiat accomplis, and thereby they plan to create a situation where they will try and turn de facto occupation thereafter into the de jure occupation. We have seen this happening in Ladakh. We have seen their attempts in Himachal Pradesh, in the central sector, and previously in Arunachal and Sikkim, etc. So we have to be very careful. If you are building a helipad just next to the LAC, that implies depending upon the size of the helipad and the size of the helicopters that can come in, that you can quickly rush troops there. So what exactly is the intention? We have to be very much on the alert, and I'm sure the army will be taking the requisite steps. The simple fact is, when they tried it in Ladakh, we mashed them man for man, gun for gun, tank for tank, jet fighter for jet fighter. And they had to back down. We are still, the negotiations are humming to and fro. Recently, there were reports that China has built a bridge over the Pongong So to try and speed up the induction of their forces towards the Kailash range, which we had occupied, and surprised them. I think what we need to do is tit for tat. If China will not stop these incursions, well, if they can come in, we can into our gaps, we can go into their gaps and pay them back in their own coin. And I'm very certain that we will have to keep this area under very strict watch, and we will. And I'm sure there will be a countervailing build-up, oblique development of infrastructure on our side to cater for any surprises that the Chinese may be planning. China is getting needlessly aggressive. You have seen it get very aggressive against Taiwan after the Nancy Pelosi visit. They've gone virtually ballistic. They more or less staged a rehearsal of a blockade of Taiwan, and they carried out missile fire drills over the Taiwan airspace. So we have to be very careful, because China seems to be in a belligerent mood.
Let me get in a word from Professor D.K. Giri. Professor D.K. Giri, would you trust the army, or would you trust India's opposition? When army sources say, you can ask the question that, is the government doing enough to counter the Chinese build-up on their side of the line of actual control? But to mislead people saying that they've actually entered India, there is a narrative being spread again using this video. But Eastern Command sources, army sources have told Republic, they've confirmed that this is in Chinese territory. So why fearmonger, sir?
Yeah, sure, Niranjan, that is a complacent position. But you heard a veteran army officer, General Bakshi, and he gave a typically, which is very encouraging, an army response. That's quite encouraging. But strategically, we have really faltered. I'll give you a strategic perspective. I think the first thing we should do is to appeal to the Prime Minister to change his foreign minister. He doesn't understand what he's doing really. He has spent all his time in files and furnitures. He is an unwise advocate of what is called strategic autonomy, which is an euphemism for non-alignment, which is not practicable. You see, China could not run over Taiwan because America is behind it. Who are our partners? Can we take on China? General Bakshi would say, yes, but I feel we have lost the war to China. China is occupying 500 square kilometers of our territory, and China.
So how are you saying we've lost the war to China, sir? I mean, on what basis are you making these comments, sir?
Well, wait a minute. Oh, this is from 1962 war. I'm talking of the entire land that China has taken. I'm not talking of recent, from the war. So everybody knows it is on the public domain, Niranjan. I'm not talking of what is happening in Ladakh now. Since 1962, how much territory China has taken from us? And China is a territory-hungry power. It is a dictatorship. And we have no China policy. And this foreign minister does not understand China's policy. I would say it very strongly. When he was appointed, I wrote an article saying it is a wrong choice. He's from my university where I studied, a university which has sympathy for China and Soviet Union. And that is what he reflects. So the first thing the Prime Minister should do is to change its foreign minister if you want to deal with China. The strategic autonomy does not work. Non-alignment never worked. So we should be really practical.
Did you say change the Home Minister?
Talk of the real politics to deal with China. We need strategic partners. No, Foreign Minister, I said. Not
Foreign Minister, okay.
Home Minister does not deal with foreign policy.
Yeah, because I thought I heard
Foreign
you
Minister,
wrongly.
Dr. Jaishankar. Yeah.
Jitendra Kumar Ojha.
And the day he was made the foreign minister, Sushma Swaraj was far better foreign minister than him. So we should change our foreign minister.
Sir, I'll tell you today I'll tell you there was a story, okay? There was a story that we broke this morning. Jitendra Kumar Roja, I'm just telling both Professor D.K. Giri and Vivek Srivastava. There's a story we broke this morning, okay? And very interesting story. I'm reading out because we broke the story this morning, and we were discussing how to break the story and how to get the reactions. And the story was like this: President and executive members of the India-China Friendship Association in Karnataka. Okay, that was the story. Interface of US imperialist in the internal affairs of the People's Republic of China and a Chinese photographic exhibition was a poster. Okay, venue was in Karnataka Chitrakala Parishat in Kumarakrupa Road, Bengaluru. Elections are coming up in Karnataka. You'll find it interesting. Chief guest was Mr. Siddaramaiah. Okay, Congress leader, has been a former chief minister. He says that he denied or declined, right, to attend this event. But look at the others in the list. His Excellency Mr. Sun Weidong, Ambassador, Embassy of the People's Republic of China. Mr. Kong Jianhua, Consul General of the People's Republic of China in Mumbai. Guest of honor. Wait, you'll find it, Vivek, you'll find this interesting. 1 minute. Wait, Vivek, you'll find this interesting. Wait, don't stop me from naming the others. H.C. Mahadevappa, former Deputy Chief Minister of Karnataka. You can Google these names, which party they belong to. L. Hanumantaya, MP. Wait, don't stop me. Don't stop me from mentioning the names.
I'm not stopping you.
Wait.
Exactly do you want to
L. Hanumantaya, MP Rajya Sabha. PGR Sindhya, former Minister of Karnataka, Honorable President. Mr. K. Srinivas Gowda, MLA. Right? You can Google them and you'll realize that the Congress party actually is the chief guest at an event called by a Chinese body with a Chinese ambassador is going to be there. And at the same time in Bengaluru and in Delhi, they are complaining that China is very close to our borders. So, I don't have to get into the history of this, but it's clear. Can I get Jitendra Kumar Roja? Vivek, here Jitendra, and then I'll give you the last word. Yeah.
Congress has made this mess in the first place.
No, there's more politics. I think this is more politics than anything else. Jitendra Ji.
Yes, what has happened, I always believe that on matters of national security, government, opposition, and even academia, they have to be on the same page. Fact is that, our foreign policy does not depend upon one individual. There are institutions. And whatever, I'm not supporting or opposing any individual as such, any incumbent as such. And this foreign policy is part of your larger national security strategy or larger national security capacity. Fact is that, strategically, we have been very, very inward and defensive looking. And Chinese have been constantly saying that as a civilization, India has been shrinking, and as a civilization, they have been expanding. So this is not something which has started new. Their claim over Tibet, hardly for 100 years or so, they had managed to defeat Tibet under Qing dynasty, and they controlled Tibet for a while until 1913, 12 or 13, when Tibet gained independence. And let me tell you, the script of Tibet is very similar to Devanagari. We have shared far closer ties with Tibet. Even you take the case of Eastern Turkestan, Kashgar, Hindustani spoken. So, somehow we lost our vigor and resilience. We were captured by external powers. Chinese talk about their civilization in centuries. But when we talk about centuries, the British were trying to promote their colonial interests. And as far as General said, that look, even if they are doing something on their side, that is also worrying. Fact is that their claim of Tibet is very, very doubtful. We had shared far closer ties with Tibet, and we have to be prepared. It's not about a verbal war. Army will definitely take care of them. Our military is far more professional. We have no confusion about that. But at the same time, I feel that it's government, opposition, and others. We come together. We devise a model of governance and national security both, which outperforms China. Because at this point of time, there is something seriously wrong with our system that we have to acknowledge. And this is not the time to squabble. I wish, that we can take a bipartisan position on these rather than playing to agenda of this kind of information warfare in which Chinese are very much capable of.
Yeah, they love it. They love
exploiting not only gaps on the border, they're also exploiting gaps.
Vivek hasn't spoken. Vivek hasn't spoken. Vivek loves this.
I do agree with what General Bakshi was saying technically, and all the points that he has made are very valid. I also respect him for his spirit as an army veteran. But you see, we are a democracy, and it is the foreign minister, the foreign policy, and the government which should decide what should be done. I totally agree with the Professor D.K. Giri that we have had a policy failure regards China in this country. Okay, in your over enthusiasm to please the United States of America and allies, you have gone overboard. You complained about China in the United Nations time and again, and instead of trying to be diplomatic with your neighbors, you lost your friendship with Nepal, Bhutan, Bangladesh, China, Sri Lanka, and also Pakistan. So there is not a single neighbor over here.
Do you think that argument is a little outdated now because things are much better?
Okay?
Vivek, things are much better. Things are much better. I think you're exaggerating there a little bit.
One more point.
Nepal, Sri Lanka, you're certainly exaggerating.
No. The Nepal, I mean, when Oli was there, we know what happened. We also know how close even they started going to the Chinese and how...
It's a very old argument. It's a 2-year-old argument, Vivek.
Started with India. So that is one part. And the last point that I want to make is that whether it is a Congress or it is a left or it is the other regional opposition parties, everybody is patriotic. Everybody thinks of the country where they live. However, this particular government since 2014 does not engage the opposition in any kind of conversation. Okay, even when the Chinese came, no all-party meeting was done. No discussion with the Congress party takes place, and they try to bulldoze their policies in the parliament and outside the parliament also. So I mean, can you tell me how many all opposition?
You have every Vivek, you have every right to question the government. You have every right to debate it, but you shouldn't mislead people saying that this video is from the Indian side. It's actually on the Chinese territory. Yes, you have every right, and I think the question, and I end with that question by thanking General J.D. Bakshi, Jitendra Kumar Ojha, Professor Giri, and Vivek Srivastava. Are we doing enough on our side? Is I think a valid question to end with. Thank you for joining us on the burning question.